Welcome in A to Z Sports Vols live post-game reaction show with Zach Bingham and former Vol quarterback Jonathan Crompton. We met at halftime. It was definitely a different game, and then that ending. Wow, they came out guns a-blazing in the third quarter. Tennessee, I don't know if they caught a break there or if that was savvy, right place, right time, but the Volunteers win 31-27. This post-game show is brought to you by BioPure Music City, changing the standard of clean. You can see right there, 615-635-0555. They can clean up your house or your business. So props to our sponsor, BioPure Music City, right there. Live post-game. So, all right. So before we get to some questions, get everybody involved, Crompton, I want your initial reaction of what just occurred. I was gearing up for a last drive. And
karma. I'm using the word karma. Smith, DB, boundary corner, number 9. Karma. Okay? I say that because there's 5 plays in a game that change a game. You never know when they're going to change. But when you are a defensive player and you make a stupid pass interference by trying to shove one of our guys out of bounds and then get up and flex to the sideline talking smack, karma, number 9 Smith lost the game for South Carolina solely. One word, karma.
Yeah, and it ended that way. They didn't get an opportunity. They didn't have any timeouts, but there was enough time on the clock.
Well, plenty of time
to possibly drive down. I mean, it's college football. Yeah. First down, stop the clock. But Tennessee escapes with a win. I do think this is a big win to set the tone for the season, right? We talked a lot at halftime about week 1. This is a big win for Tennessee moving forward into Missouri. But they went into – the other thing that I noticed – and they said it on the broadcast. I mean, I know that that stadium was not full, but it was loud. But
remember, South Carolina a few years ago, they got in trouble for pumping music. They've always done that freaking stupid bird noise. Okay, and I say that because I just don't like South Carolina. But as you can see, there's the jersey from 2009. So I had to put that there for this specific game, giving us good luck. But yeah, I mean that. They've always done that. First, kudos to them for doing stuff like that because they try to make it tougher on the opponents. But neither defense came out in the second half. Neither. I mean, we came out right down and just drove it down their throat. And the next thing I'm like, yes, just what we're talking about at halftime. Awesome. Crap, they did it to us too. And nonstop. If we don't miss that field goal, both teams just go down and score twice like it was nothing. So thanks, boundary corner, South Carolina, number 9 Smith. Thank you for being a little too cocky, pun intended, to go ahead and lose that game at the end.
Tennessee wins 31-27, an outburst of offense in the third and fourth quarter, really in the third quarter. I mean, 24 points were scored between two teams. They came down. I thought Tennessee set the tone. They came out of halftime, and Jim Chaney had a game plan. They executed on that long drive to start out. That was impressive. And defensively, suspect throughout the second half. But offensively, they got it going. And I thought Garantano, again, we kind of talk about his good plays and his bad plays. But that first drive, he made a lot of good plays, especially that run.
Here, exactly. Well, he put a little dead leg on a guy. On a zone read. He should have handed that off. Hey, but you know what? He made a play of it. But I'm sitting here looking at stats: 61% completion, 259 and a touchdown. Not eye-popping, productive. That's what he's going to be, which is perfectly fine for this type of team. We are going to have 2 good, solid running backs. We got enough out wide with wide receivers to make plays. The thing that I would say the most about him is I saw a comment on here that said, how is he Manning 1 minute and Bortles the next? He needs to make the Bortles not bored. You know what I'm saying? The misses don't need to miss as much. Let's call it like it is. You can be 30% in baseball and be a Hall of Famer. Physically, 30% is a Hall of Famer. Football, you got to be 60% or above. He's above 60% today. But the missed throws need to be closer. You know what I'm saying? I understand there's going to be misses, but they don't need to be 2-3 feet over somebody's head. They need to be a little closer to where it doesn't look as bad. They're going to miss. We get that. Make it just a little less obvious, I guess I would say, because it's going to happen. You're going to have guys in your face. You're physically not going to see the receiver sometimes. You know what I mean? But some of those throws, yeah, they could have been open, may have been open. They were just way over their head type deal. And, I want to retract a statement I said at halftime. Hill, hey, man, he played a gutsy game. I said he was outmatched. He proved me wrong in the second half. Dude came out and played his guts out tonight. Kudos to him. 290 touchdown pick. Obviously, the pick helped us. You never know when that mistake's going to hurt you, but kudos to him. But you know what? 7 wins in a row. That says something. I don't care what anybody says. And that's 7 wins in a row. That's not easy.
Yeah, and that's Jeremy Pruitt, right? Both of us have watched the Vols for a long time. It's come a long way to even think about saying that. I want to break down the game and Garantano and get your opinion on the quarterback play, plus ask a question to our viewers. This is A to Z Sports Vols live post-game reaction show. We're going to be doing this every halftime and post-game of the Tennessee Volunteers for all 10 of their games this season. They start out 1-0. They beat South Carolina 31-27. They closed the deal. Too positive before we get to this question. I do like that Jarrett Garantano has a little bit more swagger. That one of these, you can tell the confidence in his play. And I also, another positive, Bayless Jones Jr., I like this guy. He is going to he brings you something. He brings this team something that I think they can build on. I want to get to this. What is one word to describe this Vols win tonight? That's what we were asking you guys right now on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. We are live post-game with former Vols quarterback Jonathan Crompton. One word to describe the Vols win. Crompton, get your word ready. But first, I want to tell the folks about our great sponsor, which is BioPure Music City. We've teamed up with them for this particular show and the shows moving forward. They're changing the standard of clean. BioPure can come into your house, your home, your place of business, and they can clean it up. It's unbelievable the technology that they use, especially with the coronavirus flu season coming in. They can help you out. BioPure Music City, 615-635-0555. That's BioPure right there. We'll read some comments, but Crompton, what is your one word to describe the Vols win tonight?
Gutsy. Just gutsy. I say that meaning they found a way when they shouldn't have found a way. You know what I mean? Not to say that we should have lost. But 1 of 10 on third downs, that's atrocious. That's atrocious. I mean, that's just bad.
Well, and the most important third down, they could have sealed the game and not even punted the football at the end, but then they're third and a mile.
Right? 3rd and 27 is unacceptable with the game on the line. South Carolina out of timeouts. That's unacceptable. So that's why I use the word gutsy, because they still found a way. Even with as bad as they were on third down, they only had 10 third downs at least. Thank God. So that's why I use that word.
All right, let's go through some comments. Jeff and Sean are both going with lucky. And you could say that, look, the ball bounced that way, but sometimes luck's on your side and you end up in the win.
Hey, sometimes it's better be lucky than good.
Yeah, Jeffrey says sloppy. L Boogie goes meh. B-Hall just says win. Misty goes lucky. Resilient from Kyle there on YouTube. Jacobs uses 2 words, gut check. Lucky again from Sean. Deborah goes, wipes her bra. Phew. That was it was a close game because it ended 31-27, but it could have been different. Michael says needed. I think that was a good word. I think needed. Mike says undefeated. That's true. Paul says undefeated. Loco says growth. Dom goes with grit, kind of going with your gutsy.
Yeah.
My word is outlast. I think they
Yep. I
outlasted
like that.
in the second half. I think they were able to outlast South Carolina. I think Tennessee was the better football team tonight. I think they should have won. I think they could have won earlier if they took care of business on third down, as you mentioned.
Yep.
But they were able to outlast South Carolina when it came down to it. They have talent. This is more of a – they have more talent on this team than they have in years past. We'll talk about the quarterback here in a sec, but they outlasted South Carolina, and that's why – when they came out and scored on that first opening drive, I was literally thinking they're up 14 points. I was like, I mean, Tennessee could blow them out by 24 or something. But South Carolina,
I was thinking the same thing.
They fought back, they punched back, and they ended up outlasting them. But they won the game, and Tennessee's 1-0.
At that point, hey, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if it's a 1-0 win or 31-27. You're 1-0. Heading into week 2 against Missouri, take care of business, then you go down to Athens. So that's the mindset. Got to get ready for next week. Everybody, there's always going to be guys that are banged up, all this stuff. So heal up, get ready. There are no cupcake games this year. Get ready, and you got to get ready quick. And at least they've got the staff that understand that. I was still expecting a little more from having 16 returning starters, though.
Yeah, more.
I really was. But you know what? A win's a win. You're not going to play perfect every Saturday. So hopefully being at home, playing a noon game, next week, hopefully that helps, and hopefully we do what South Carolina did, pump that stadium full of music. I mean, seriously. Because at this point, you're going to have to find any advantage you can get in a year like this year. So, I'm excited for the future. I really am. But with 16 returning starters, we need to see a little more productivity.
You're absolutely right. A to Z Sports Vols live post-game reaction show. We're going to be doing this all year long with former volunteer quarterback Jonathan Crompton. I want to dive deeper into Garantano's play and grading him real quick, but I saw a comment that B. Hall said. He says, our defense finally has dudes. What did you think about the Tennessee defense? Jeremy Pruitt came in here as the head coach a couple of years ago to turn that defense around. Get bigger, get faster. How do you think that defense played? The second half, look, they definitely had some inconsistencies, but I don't know. I felt like they've been improved. What do you think about the defense?
I would say they improved. If I had to grade them, I'd probably give them a B- right now. There's no reason why Shi Smith goes for 10 for 140. And when I say that, it wasn't. If you look, his long was 29. It's a good play. I can count 6 slant routes in my head, and I say that meaning there's no way he should get 140. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I say a B-. They are improved by far. They came out in the second half with a little fire, but South Carolina, neither defense stopped anybody in the second half. Let's just call it like it is. But they are improved. They do have some better guys on defense. They got some kind of name recognition. They got big guys up front now, but we need depth. That's the thing about defenses that are going to win you championships. Your starters, they're your dudes. Your backups and your third stringers that are going to play special teams and have to play defense, like your backup corner, who's your starting nickel, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Those guys got to be dudes too. We're almost there, but we're not there yet. So that's the thing. I mean, but it's not even close about improvement. That's hands down.
Yeah, and Dom brings up pass rushers. I thought the pass rush got better as the game went on. You saw more pressure bear down on them. Let's get to the quarterback situation, because I think that's going to be consistently the topic of conversation.
Yeah.
JG didn't come out and just light a flame and just was fantastic. He wasn't throwing up Mississippi State numbers. But
nobody throwing Mississippi State numbers, man. That was unreal.
It was crazy. It was like, and I was watching the end of that Texas Tech game where you're talking about slant routes. There's no defense. It was like basically a 7-on-7, which is pretty.
Big 12. It's a glorified 7-on-7 every week. It's just throw it wherever you want it. Let's score 70 and go about our day. That's why when they make it to the playoffs, they get thumped every year.
Yeah, and I don't even know if they will now because Oklahoma lost.
Not this year. I don't think so. Yeah, no, I think their shot's done.
So let's grade Jared Garantano. We're going to ask you guys there live in the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch. How do you grade Jared Garantano's performance? This is A through F, A plus through F. I don't know if you're going to throw out I don't think we're going to see any A pluses, but fairly grade him. Before we get to your grade, Crompton, and as a quarterback, this is why we wanted to do this with you because I think you have a vision of, and Jim Chaney. How do you think? Did you like the offensive game plan now that the game is over to see what Jim Chaney tried to do and kind of walk us through how Garantano tried to execute that game plan and what Chaney came in to try to do to South Carolina's defense?
I didn't mind the game plan. I think with Garantano, there needs to be a little more on the move stuff, though. Because here's the thing. We got two good running backs. We are going to run the ball, and guess what? We're going to run the ball left. Everybody knows it. Yeah. You got the best guard in America. Yeah, we're running the ball left. Stop it, right? Look what happened on the last drive on the second down. You could have closed your eyes and walked for a first down through that hole that they made, right? So with that being said, the play action game, I think, needs to be a little more on the move because it's going to take a little more of his. It's not that he can't process the information because you can physically see the processing working in his head, but it's going to take away some of the route concepts that he may not throw as well out of the playbook. Because you have to schematically put things together. He throws the crossing routes well. Well, that's perfect for on the move. He throws the out routes really well. That's perfect for on the move. So stuff like that, I think we got to incorporate a little more just to get him more into a consistent rhythm to where, like I said earlier, his misses don't look so bad. You know what I mean? Because his grade, if you go by his numbers, over 60%, 259, and a touchdown. It's not a bad grade, but it's not an A. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a B plus because those misses you go, ooh, like that when you see it. I mean, it's just the reality. So if those misses aren't so bad and he's on the run and he's and somebody's not open and you throw it over their head, guess what? Everybody goes, that's a smart decision. You'll never know if you missed it, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So that's what I think they need to start doing a little more, is just incorporate a little more on the move stuff for him because he's a great athlete. He throws the ball well on the run. He throws it good from the pocket, but it's going to bring in a little different conceptual stuff. Now we've already seen first quarter, second drive, we've already done a flea flicker. So now you can bring into a couple more little trick plays down the road off of on the move stuff. So I did overall like the game plan, but I wasn't 100%, I would say, enthused by it. But then again, it's week one in a crazy year where you don't know what you're going to get. So yeah, you're going to be a little more, spring game like. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have your wrinkles, but you don't know what you're going to get defensively because you haven't got to see anything in the sense of your own practices. So I know it's always like that week one, but you normally don't play an SEC opponent week one.
Yeah, that's another thing.
You know what I'm saying? So you always have 2-3 weeks of previous games to go on before you get an SEC. So this year it's just a different feel. So I think that's the reason why the game plan was kind of dulled down a little, was to make sure that we didn't get out of our comfort zone. So hopefully in the next week or two, we do have some more stuff, and let's call it like it is. We all knew we should beat South Carolina. For all intents and purposes, we know Tennessee should beat Missouri. Keyword should. It always happens this way. They're going to save a lot of their special wrinkles for Georgia, because that's the, quote unquote, first real big test. Well, it's SEC. They're all tests, but they're a top 5 opponent on the road. So you don't want to give anything away before you get there, but you got to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to take care of those first 2 games.
And you do. So I think we did enough offensively with the game plan. I just don't think we did everything that we're going to do. So with that, I'm going to grade him probably at a clear C, just not because of the numbers, not because of his completion percentage, but because of the misses. We're just a little too far off.
And it's the same misses that we've seen, I think, in years past that you want him to correct. And those misses, now they weren't catastrophic, right? You don't give,
and that's a positive.
Right. And that is a positive. And a lot of people are agreeing with you. So we're going to read some comments. You gave him a C. Joshua goes C. The Guru says C+. C+ from Zachary. Monster Vol on YouTube says B+. Matt's going B. Dom B-, right around that area. Randy says D, a little bit harder. Jeff says C-. Ronald says C+. Jacob says C-. Vic's going with D. C-. Not a lot of A. We haven't seen an A yet. Chances.
We're not going to see an A. Just the only A this week is Costello. That's the only A this week.
There you go. And I think you graded him correctly. I think I may go, and usually I'm a little harsher, but look, again, you've got the quarterback mindset. I would give him a C+, and I go back to the catastrophic mistake that he did. He has to play better in bigger games, right? And so like when you face Georgia and the bigger opponents later in the year, the stat line we read off, which is 19 of 31 for 259 and 1 touchdown, no interception, that's not going to beat you the better opponent. That will beat you South Carolina, right?
And that'll beat you Missouri.
Right, and being relied on his run game, which I think was definitely a part of the game plan and will continue. That's just, I feel like a Chaney characteristic. But I think he's a C+ because the one thing I did, that touchdown pass, we talked about at halftime. He missed in the first half on those wide open deep balls, and then he connected, and I felt like he needed that.
That was a great throw. The one that I think he wished he could have back, though, is in the third quarter, they threw – it was a fade route, man-to-man, overthrown a little bit, kind of tried to give him a jump ball to Jones Jr., but if he back shoulders him and lets him – it would have looked like an underthrow. Oh, he's inaccurate. No, it would have been right on the money for the type of throw. I think if I'm thinking correctly, I think he wished he could have that one back because the corner, he had no chance. He gave him a chance by letting him go up vertically one-on-one that way instead of making the corner stop, put his foot in the ground, and try to redirect and jump rather than just going straight up. That would have almost been the nail in the coffin. Instead of a field goal, we get a touchdown there late in the third. That would have, I think, definitely helped in the momentum, and it might not have ended the way it ended.
Yeah, and there's a couple of times. He has a live arm. He can throw, and sometimes he throws a little too hard, right? Like you saw that example where you let your athlete, let your player, let your wide receiver make the play, and don't make it more difficult on him. You don't have to gun it in there so hard that it's an incomplete. And this is always going to chase Jared Garantano for the rest of the season. We've seen so many bad passes. We've seen good throws, right? But we've seen so many bad passes that don't let your wide receivers even have a chance. And that has to be eliminated if he's going to take the next step. And let's be honest, Tennessee in the East, it's Georgia, Florida, Florida, Georgia, however you want to put it, and that will be decided. Right now, after this week, it's Florida, Georgia. Florida better.
Yeah,
Tennessee's
Florida,
third.
Tennessee's third, but you know what? Depending on when JT Daniels gets cleared, I'm gonna tell you, there's a chance that if he doesn't get cleared for a few weeks, Tennessee could sneak up in there and be a clear battle for second with Georgia. Florida is by far the best team in the East right now after week 1. But, they played, like you said, at halftime. Ole Miss's defense is not that great. But they did what they were supposed to do.
Defense is maybe the worst defense in the country. Besides,
but think about it though. Florida did what they had to do against a bad defense. Exactly like you said. When you're supposed to be an elite team, you put that nail in the coffin and you say we're better than you. There's nothing you can do about it. Our backups are coming in the third, early fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you do, and that's what Florida did. Georgia? Dude, they were down 7-2. That's a baseball score.
Yeah.
Okay. They had to get a safety to get on the board.
Yeah, they had to.
But they're struggling at quarterback. I know the Bennett guy. He's not too shabby, but he's not their answer. If JT Daniels doesn't get healthy early, if we can go ahead and beat Missouri, we go to Georgia and they don't have JT Daniels, we have a shot because we're going to pound the rock. 25 rushes for 126 tonight, okay? We'll go 35 rushes in Athens. No, seriously, because we're going to control the ball because we know they can't beat us on offense. Not the way they played today. And I'm not trying to look too far ahead, but you all in a season like this where it's nonstop SEC, you start game planning 2-3 weeks at a time. So Georgia's game plan, let's run the rock, let's control the ball. We don't think that they can score enough points to beat us. Yes, they're top 5 in the country, but LSU 15-0. LSU's number 6 in the country. LSU gives up 600 passing yards tonight and gets beat. Anything can happen in the SEC. That's been proven year in and year out. Georgia is not elite right now. They get JT Daniels, they've got a better chance of being. But I'm not sold on them at all this year, at all.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting here in a couple of weeks. I think the one takeaway that I think can give Tennessee fans some hope moving forward, and you mentioned it at the start of our post-game show brought to you by BioPure Music City, and it is, what's unacceptable and I think will change is I don't think each week they're going to go 1 for 11 on third down.
God,
That is a stat that will not hold up. So if they get more efficient on third down, that's going to extend drives. That's going to run more clock. It's going to make them control the game. So that's something I think they can get going going into Missouri. But that's something they got to clean up.
But here's the thing that we got to realize as well. What affects third down? The biggest thing that affects third down is first down productivity. If I do not average 4 yards, minimum 4 yards on first down, I'm behind the 8 ball. Okay. If you go 4, 8, 12, hey, I got a first down. Right? So if you do not average 4 yards minimum every first down, you are behind the 8 ball when you get to third down. If you're 3rd and 7 or longer, we know you're throwing the ball. Awesome. Drop back. I've got a decent enough front 4. Stop them at 6 if they run it. Cool. If you average 6 yards a rush, it's a damn good offense, right? Give them 6 yards on 3rd and 7. So that's the thing is we've got to be more productive on first down to give us a better chance when we get to third down. And that's the beauty of football, though. Everything correlates together. That's what's so amazing about it. But so overall, though, we got to be 1,000 times better. We were, 43% for the year last year? We got some catching up to do because we're 10% right now.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's just the reality.
Yeah, definitely some room for improvement. All right. Jonathan Crompton, former Vol quarterback, some really great analysis. We're going to be doing this all season long at halftime and post game, so make sure your live notifications are on here on A to Z Sports. Tennessee beat South Carolina. They are 1-0, 31-27, beat Will Muschamp once again. Before we get out of here, Crompton, because I don't get an opportunity to talk to you that often on these shows, and I am interested. We've gotten a lot of comments. What is your opinion on the Cade Mays situation?
There it is.
I have to know because it is up and down. We've had a lot of free Cade Mays in the comments. I guess I'll kind of set it up this way. Do you think that it will change? Do you think that we will see Cade Mays in a Tennessee uniform this year, or is that unlikely? Give me your opinion on that.
That's tough because, like you said the other day, when you're going in conference transfers, you're not going to get eligibility. But, and this is where I use the word but, and it is a big but here. This is an odd year that literally eligibility does not matter. That's my only argument for anybody. I don't care wherever. If your eligibility doesn't matter this year, screw it. Let them all play. You know what I mean? Now, if it wasn't this year, then probably not. But with it only being this year that they said, hey man, literally everybody's getting a red shirt. It is what it is. Then why is the kid that went from Georgia to Ole Miss? Let him play. You know what I mean? Let Cade Mays play. For that reason only. And then after this year, go back to your standard rule. You know what I mean? Of you got to petition, you got to do this, you got to do this, because like you said, I don't think anybody's ever been allowed, immediate eligibility inside conference. It's just, it's not going to happen. But I think they should for this year only, and then go back to normal.
Yeah, and I understand that.
I don't think it's going to happen though. I don't think it's going to happen. I just think they should because of everybody's getting a free year.
Yeah, and I think Cade Mays, he can definitely help this offensive line moving forward.
Yeah,
I mean it's an upgrade, right? I mean he's a good player, and they have look, Tennessee they put up points. Obviously they had the Toto pick six, but they put up points tonight. That's got to make you feel good. The second half they were putting up points. That has to make you feel good going in to the next 9 games, and especially going into Missouri, which is a very winnable game. They should win and be 2-0, then travel at Georgia to really see what this Tennessee football team.
Well, and see, here's the best part for Tennessee. Who does Georgia got next week? Auburn.
That's right.
Tennessee, Missouri, Georgia, Auburn. Go take care of business against Missouri. Try not to let it do like it was tonight. Take care of it as early as possible. Let Georgia go beat their heads against the wall against Auburn. Go to Athens 2-0. I mean, I don't like Georgia or Auburn, so I really hope they both lose if that happens. But, because we got to play them both this year. But I'm not sold on Auburn. I'm not. So, and obviously I've said I'm not sold on Georgia's quarterback situation. But when Daniels gets healthy, I'm more sold on Georgia than at Auburn. So luckily we got Georgia week 3. So let's go make sure he's not healthy somehow. Like hopefully they don't clear him and let him play week 3 and then take care of business. Now we can start rolling because what is it, Kentucky after that?
Yep.
So, I mean, at this moment, Georgia's a very winnable game at this moment. As long as we are better than 10% on third down. So the first 4 weeks aren't looking too shabby to be able to go 4-0. But if we get out of that 3-1, hey, that's a win.
Yeah,
that's a win. If you go with the first 4 weeks we've got and you go 3-1, that's a win. Now we can go down to the next part of the schedule and really start getting into it because Alabama, Auburn, A&M. By the way, A&M, dude, A&M.
Oh, Vandy.
Vandy.
Vandy loses like in Vandy fashion, but that game was close.
But that shows everybody. Dude, the SEC, it doesn't matter. This is not the ACC where Clemson is going to go out here and have their starters out in the second quarter because they play Wake Forest every week. And I'm not being mean. That's nothing against the ACC.
That's the truth.
Dude, that's just when Vandy's out here playing the number 10 team, Texas A&M, 5-point loss. I mean, it shows something. I mean, I'm looking at these scores. I mean, 52-10, Miami and Florida State. You're not going to see that in the SEC. Teams are too evenly matched.
Yeah.
From top to bottom, they are. So Virginia Tech, last one, I'll be done. Virginia Tech, 45-24. Virginia Tech had 23 players out, and they beat NC State like that. First off, I'm happy because I'm not an NC State fan. But 23 players out, and you do that to a team in your conference? Let somebody in the SEC have 23 players out, and I mean, come on. You can't – never mind. I'm done. I'm done when I'm comparing conferences. I can't do that anymore.
But that's the difference of the SEC and everybody else. And
it is.
I felt like football started today. It was a great Saturday. We saw some teams get exposed. We saw some good football. We saw some good plays. And Tennessee now 1-0, moving on into the rest of their schedule. It's
positive for our defense. We didn't give up 600 yards passing. It's called that's a win.
That's glass half full.
And for all the fans, Tennessee's quarterback is likely to be the starter longer than LSU's quarterback.
I think I would agree with that. I would 100%.
And it's not saying he's not good, but I mean, when you go 15-0 and there's that expectation, and then I know you can't help the defense give up that many yards, but you still got to pull that one out if you're LSU, the reigning national champs, at home against a new coach. You know what I mean? So that's my prediction for the rest of the year is that JG, I don't think they pull him, but if they do, it'll be way after LSU. I think LSU might go through 2 or 3 quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, they'll definitely be searching. Tennessee, They get the win tonight. 31-27 against South Carolina. Start the season 1-0 next week against Missouri. This has been A to Z Sports. Got to thank our sponsor. They're going to be doing it all year long. That is changing the standard of clean. That is BioPure Music City. Shout out to them. If you have no idea what they are, BioPure Music City, Google them. They can literally change your life in the sense of cleaning up your business, cleaning up your home, making you feel safe. They have the tools and the technology to clean up what you need to be cleaned up, especially heading into a flu season with coronavirus. They can help your house and your business. So special shout out to BioPure. Check them out, 615-635-0555. Special thanks to Jonathan Crompton. Hey, Crompton, great job. Great. Hey, good win for the Tennessee Volunteers. And
1-0, that's all that matters.
That's right. We will be back next week against Missouri. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure your live notifications are on here for A to Z Sports.